Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. My name is Max, and I'm the CEO Because Bitcoin, joined today by Tucker, our CFO, and Will's Outlook, who's going by the name Janet Yellen these days, one of our top analysts here at Because Bitcoin. Unfortunately, we will not be joined by Snorlax, Tommy, or Jackus today. Jackus might be here for the second half. Jackus is having some car problems. I believe his car is in the shop. He said he was going to work hard to get here for the second half, so definitely stick around, because if he does show up, we're going to get him to absolutely cook for you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna text him during the show too. We're gonna see if we can get him on for the second half. But Tommy's traveling today for the holidays. But guys, thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome. I see a lot of regulars here in the comments already. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are coming from. Let's get this out of the way right away. Guys, if you haven't yet, please consider, before we get into the stream, before we get in too deep, hit that thumbs up button for us. Hit that like button on Twitter. Wherever you're coming from, wherever you're watching from, smash that like button. Don't be gentle with it either. I mean, really give it your all. Put your full force into hitting that like button, guys. Furthermore, if you are new here, this is Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We are live Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time, normally with 5 guys on here. Friendly banter. We go back and forth, talk narratives, talk fundamentals, talk technical analysis. It's basically a 2-hour long alpha dump 5 days a week. So let's get into it a little bit here. I'm going to set the stage. The title of today's stream is $100 on the table for Solana? Question mark, question mark. Well, here's the deal, guys. Every time it appears as though there's a local top in on Solana, it's not a local top. It's not even close to a local top. Apparently, there's been a global top in Solana since like the past 2 months. Every time there appears to be some sort of extreme or low time frame overextension, we get the classic top callers. You really don't want to be caught calling tops prematurely. It's not a good look. It's actually far better, one, from a public perception, and two, just it's better for your bags to just let the market tell you what's going on, rather than just being like anxious and too eager to get in and out of positions. You have to recognize the writing on the wall that what we're seeing right now is very reminiscent of bull market vibes. Even if this isn't actually a bull market, I'm not here to really debate whether we're about to start like full-blown price exploration across the board, because we have a long way to go for that. But either way, these are very bullish conditions that are reminiscent of a bull market, where you get 1 day, maybe 2 days, chop and red, and then you engulf all of that chop and all of that red within a matter of hours. And it's been fun. It's been really fun. We've been having a really great time trading these conditions. In TradFi or Legacy, we're seeing indexes pushing all-time highs. Actually, DJI made an all-time high, I believe. NASDAQ made an all-time high. I believe the S&P 500 is getting close, but not quite there. I do have very little doubt in my mind that we will push, basically through the previous all-time high, like a hot knife through butter here very soon. But I believe where the real alpha has been, where the real gains have been made, have been playing a lot of these individual names that haven't been paid attention to the past year. Really, the concentration of wealth and the focus that has been on mega cap tech, has left a lot of these smaller cap companies that are good companies. A lot of them are very profitable. They've left them sort of in the state of neglect. And where there's neglect and there's oversight and there's an over concentration of focus and deployment of capital into a handful of names, there's always opportunity during times like this. So where we've really been focusing a lot of our time is on these companies that we deem to be still solid companies, making money, a lot of them, some of them not. We like to go dumpster diving too. That's fine. But these are very unique times and very unique conditions where you're seeing some small cap companies run 50 to 100% in, a matter of weeks, which is pretty incredible. But anyways, guys, we have a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of things pumping across the board. There's also a lot of kind of chop and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, just a quick reminder too, before we get into the charts, if you have not liked the video yet, please consider hitting that thumbs up button for us. It really does wonders for the channel. Looks like we have 50 people watching or something like that. Yeah, maybe about 50 people watching, 25 likes. Guys, we got to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. So, anyways, let's get into the charts here. Let's dive in. Let's see if we can pull it up here.
Real quick, Max, before we
We'll cover stocks. I tried to kind of set the stage on a lot of topics I want to cover today, but let's talk about Sol. Is $100 on the table for Solana? I know we're going to have some differing opinions, and to the audience, I apologize in advance because things are going to get rowdy today. Okay. We've got one guy in here who might be one of the largest Solana holders. He's a top wallet. Okay. I'm not going to say who it is, but he's a Solana whale. And the other one is a,
who's that?
the other one is a Solana hater. Okay. And a Solana fedor. All right. So we're going to start with Tucker here, man. He's got his chart up. Is $100 on the table for Solana? Tell me everything.
Yes, yes, it is indeed, Max. And I am not the fedor, I'll just say that. Yeah, man, look, I mean, this whole time people have been calling for a top. It just hasn't happened. It's not gonna happen, I don't think. I mean, look, you're probably gonna get this eventually, but I mean, you don't want to fade a daily breakout above range high, right? And you can call this a range, right? You can call this a range. I wouldn't fade that, right? Like this whole time, you've not wanted to fade the breaks to the upside. And so while I know that might not be what the debate is necessarily about, and it's going to be more fundamental in terms of portfolio construction, I think regardless, Sol is going higher, and it's been outperforming the entire year, right? Like I know it's now up 10x from the lows. Like what can Bitcoin's up 180%. ETH is up like 2x. No. Yeah. A little bit more than 2x, right? It's like if you're going to pick a high cap to hold in that portion of your portfolio, why would you not have Sol in that category? There's no right? There's no sense in not. If you're gonna hold Bitcoin and ETH, I would replace one of them with Sol. Low
All right,
key.
we gotta halt the conversation a little bit here.
Okay. Hang on, let him finish first though. Will let him finish first though.
I mean,
Let him
that's
get these
okay.
thoughts.
That's okay. I mean, look, I'm just thinking of it in terms of portfolio construction. I can't find a better high cap beta. I can't. There's none. That's like, that works, that has users, that's now the new meta, right? Like,
So you're talking
it's
about relatively safe potential outperformance against Bitcoin and ETH in an altcoin.
yes.
Like as safe as it can get in your opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not talking
I,
about
I
like
don't know
the
about that.
ultimate beta.
Well, something to consider here too, and in conditions like this, it works perfectly, right? But something to consider with something like Sol is that eventually, and I'm not going to say when, maybe it's here, maybe it's $100, maybe it's 150. Beta works both ways. Eventually, when the market does correct, you're going to see Sol puke twice as hard as Bitcoin and ETH. So, I mean, it goes both ways, right? But if we're talking about portfolio construction, I mean, you make a really great point, Tucker.
There you
Oh,
go,
what is
guys.
this?
I drew a little graphic for you. If this is your portfolio and you got high caps, mid caps, small caps, and then you got shitters down here, right?
Yeah.
The question is, what am I going to fill each of these things up with, right? Like, if that's the way you're going to go about it, right? If
Are you saying Solana's a shitter?
it will, if you're going to do this and your whole your whole portfolio is just this, you're going to have a tough time, brother. You just are. I'm sorry. Right?
No, I mean my whole thing's not S.
His whole
right?
thing is shitters, is what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, exactly.
It's well, I mean, yeah, if I was all in on Solana, but yeah, but what I'm saying is the point being, all right, is if I'm going to go HC, which I do have, it's going to be Bitcoin, 100%. That's strictly due to drawdown. I think Solana absolutely gets annihilated next bear market, just like
Sure.
every other altcoin. And if I'm going to go S, obviously, right? It's dumpster. It's on fire. Everybody's talking shit. Nobody's interested in it, right? That's kind of the problem with a lot of these things is whenever people start coming out and like everybody right now is praising Solana. They're praising Solana because they bought in and they got a 0.0085% move. And they're like, oh my
Will,
God, this is
where
the
is that
future.
number coming from, bro?
And
Where are you getting that? Where are you
I'm
getting
talking
that?
about your late buyers. I'm not talking about your early buyers because
Okay,
nobody bought the
okay.
bottom of that. Nobody bought the bottom of that.
I did.
Look, we're talking about 99.9% of the people that sit here and talk about Solana did not buy the bottom of that.
Are you talking bottom?
I would.
Are you talking about $8 being the bottom? Or are you talking like that $20 region?
I'm talking $8. I'm talking $20. I'm
Because Tucker
talking
did shove at
$30.
$20, man. I can
Shove.
attest. It
No,
was
no,
sub
no.
30. You know,
I'm
Tucker
not.
shoved there.
I'm
He
not. I'm
shoved.
not. I'm not saying Tucker. I'm saying most of
You're
the
saying
people
the
that are
people
talking
buying up
about it,
here.
there are people that bought up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There are
here's what
people
I
that
will
bought up
say
there.
though, Will, is I would not buy Solana up here. Even though I do agree with what Tucker's saying that it's in my opinion a really solid bet and a really healthy addition to a balanced portfolio that appreciates and strives for a little bit of beta and outperformance to Bitcoin and ETH. I don't view Solana at $80 as relative deep value. I do not. Even if it
That's what
goes to
I'm
100 or
saying.
120.
That's literally what I'm saying because
Yeah.
your
That's
risk to
fair.
reward is not there. Your RR is not there if you're buying here.
Over,
Can we
Okay,
agree?
but
but you got to talk about
let's
time frames, though,
compare
Will.
the
You got to talk about
RR
time
to
frames
ETH.
because $80 Solana over a decade could potentially be this could be very like deep value. But on the
If you're
time frame
talking
we're
about
talking about a year or two, I don't think so.
Yeah,
if
but
you're talking about
Max.
high cap RR, Will, high like
Yeah,
Bitcoin
I'm gonna go with
RR versus
Bitcoin.
ETH versus Sol.
No, you're not. Look, there's nobody that's gonna convince me not to go with Bitcoin over every other high cap. Like it's never gonna happen. Like it just and it's due to drawdown. It's due to drawdown.
What are you talking
I
about with Bitcoin though, Will? Like in what context are you talking about Bitcoin? And like you want most of your portfolio in Bitcoin, or why are you mentioning Bitcoin?
because when it comes to high caps, it's the only high cap I hold.
You're saying this in your portfolio is just Bitcoin.
Well, Bitcoin, a little bit of DOT, and just things that have been steady.
Okay,
Okay.
but
I do
DOT
have
how
some
would you
ETH
clearly
define
too.
a
has
high cap though, Will? How do you define like top
Top
10
10,
by market
top
cap?
10, top 10. Like, look, if you're gonna say high caps, you might as well just buy Ada, right?
Oh man.
I'm just
I
saying,
saw Tucker smirking when he pulled this up.
Will, come on, brother. This is the
what?
dot sol ratio. Sorry, the sol dot ratio. Right?
Yeah, I
Like
know, but
these are
also
the kinds of things you got to look at, right? It's like, why would I hold anything against Sol if Sol's going to do this against it?
Dot has a lot going on though too. It has a lot going on in the ecosystem. Dot was not fully
But dude, it's
functional in
not even
2021.
comparable to that of the Sol ecosystem. If we're just being honest about it, like
I
maybe they
don't know
have
about
stuff
that.
going on, but bro, Sol is cooking, man.
No,
Sol has an
Soul has
unbelievable
liquidity.
ecosystem.
Soul has liquidity. That's what it has. And I would say ecosystem. There's a lot of beta in Soul.
Dude,
Now granted,
nobody's like diving into the dot ecosystem. Like nobody's
no,
doing that.
no, but nobody's in. Tell me one person who knows what's going on in the Soul ecosystem.
Dude,
Tell me. No,
everybody is.
everybody's talking about Soul. Nobody's talking about what's going on Soul.
Bro,
I
Will,
spoke
that's
with
not
one
true, man.
person. I spoke with one person yesterday. One person who actually knows what's going on chain with Soul. Like I've never heard anybody deep dive any beta on Soul.
All right, so I want to go back to this discussion here. Okay, rather than ecosystem, you're talking about Will, you don't have an interest in holding anything but Bitcoin for within the top 10 is what you said. For
Well, I
large
mean,
cap, for high caps,
I dabble in other high caps, like, but
but
they
even
don't
if we're
hold a
just talking
significant
about,
of a
if we're
position.
talking about in a general sense, how can I potentially outperform Bitcoin, or how can I juice my returns and chase some beta in the safest possible manner?
Big
You know,
caps, low
if
caps.
that's what we're talking about, the data would disagree with you that Bitcoin is in fact the only high cap you should hold because there's seasonality at play with things like Ethereum and Solana and BNB and all the other, top 10 mega cap cryptos where even if you don't believe in them, if you're just a trader, which you are, and you're a guy that chases beta, which I know you are, it seems like it just doesn't really make sense to not want to hold anything but Bitcoin as a part of that, if we're looking at the pie chart, the high cap portion of your portfolio. It
Yeah,
doesn't seem
here's the thing. So high cap is high cap, right? It's like what am I looking to do to balance my high cap? It'd be like me talking about DJI, SPY. Like I don't care about that stuff. That stuff's there just to steady my portfolio on the downside. That's all it's
No,
there
no, no,
for.
Will. It's all
Growth
about Sharpe
is
ratio and Sortino. Period. That's it.
look,
Risk
high
adjusted
cap,
returns.
high cap is not growth.
Period.
High cap is not growth. And I
I'm
don't look
aware. Well,
I don't
dude,
I
high
don't
cap in crypto you could call growth. Like, let's be
yeah.
real.
I
If
don't
it's
I
gonna
don't
go up 5x, that's growth. Like,
look, you can call it that, but it's just not like in any factor of the word. Like growth is growth, right? Growth is risk. More risk, more growth. Um, and I like to keep a tight finger on my portfolio when it comes to growth, right? Like I want to maximize my growth with minimizing my risk, and that's where my
sure,
percentage
you're
comes from.
talking about risk adjusted returns, brother.
Yes,
That's what you're talking about.
but here's the thing, Tucker. My risk is really out there. So my overall support, my high cap needs to be really safe, right? It doesn't mean going and aping someone like, hey, this is the future, and then all of a sudden, Soul absolutely gets annihilated in the bear, and the bear comes, and I'm not paying attention, and the bear comes much swifter for Solana than it does for the rest of the high caps,
So let
and
me share something with you. Okay. And Will, I think you would probably agree with me on this. Okay. But for me, I hold most of my wealth that's in crypto in Bitcoin and ETH because I am not willing to get rugged on a majority of my net worth. I like to dabble in the shitcoin casino. Okay. But I feel confident that 10 years from now, Bitcoin and ETH will still both be here. And hopefully they're significantly higher and more valuable in
yeah.
price than they are right now. But with that said, I could throw, 6 figures, 7 figures into Bitcoin and ETH and feel confident about that. Where I would throw maybe 1/10 of that or even a 20th of that at some speculative shitcoin. So when we're talking about relative performance, portfolio performance, you can make the same amount by just having concentrated wealth in assets like Bitcoin and ETH, even if they don't perform as well as some of these shit coins. So if you're talking about that in terms of like, why you hold Bitcoin, that makes perfect sense to me, because you can shove a majority of your net worth in Bitcoin and look for a 2 or 3x, which is big, right? And then you'll
Mhm.
throw 1 or 2% or 3%, 5% in some shit coin that, maybe goes to zero and maybe rugs.
That or does 100 or 1,000x or so on and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the leverage I'm playing. I'm playing more on the deep end on one side, like really really high risk, and then I'm playing the other side as kind of hedging my downside. Right. That's all it is, and I don't see Soul as a part of that as making me hedge my downside. It's just like the stock market. Like you see, Max, you see the buys of it. I bought Lucid. Everybody thinks that thing's going to freaking zero. Everybody thinks that thing's going to zero. And I have to hedge that. How am I hedging that? Well, I'm hedging that with buying SPY, the stupidest, dumbest investment you can make it when it comes to stocks, right? And I think that that's just me going way out on the right curve and then going way out on the left curve, the super conservative to the super, risky type move. And that's the way I'm playing my portfolio right now. I think like if you're not taking really high risk with the market as frothy as it is, you're missing the meat, right?
And that's because you recognize the conditions though. And that's something I was talking about in my little intro is I think the real money to be made here is playing some of these assets that have been, forgotten about a little bit. You know, there's been so much focus on a lot of these mega cap tech companies this whole year, or really even Bitcoin for that matter, right? It's playing catch up, but Bitcoin has had a better year up until recently than a lot of altcoins. I think you're spot on, Will, that right now it makes sense to focus on some of these like shit co's and shit coins, truthfully. And that's where my focus has been, playing like deep out of the money calls on these small cap tech companies, and also dabbling with some shit coins here and there. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's also like you have to recognize the backdrop of the backdrop of crypto right now, because if we get that spot ETF approval in the next 2 weeks, Bitcoin is probably going to rip against altcoins. Like you're going to see ETH BTC go to 0.045. You're probably going to see even Solana lagging, everything will pump, but Bitcoin dominance is most certainly going to go up, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm anticipating. Here's the thing, and I'll give you guys another factor of why. Right, what ETFs are in play right now? Only two, only two when it comes to crypto. What are those two? It's Bitcoin and Ethereum. So your best support when it comes to price in a downturn scenario is going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum, regardless of how
Will,
Sol
you don't
looks to
own
play.
Ethereum though. Why would you not want to own Ethereum and
I mean, I have Ethereum, but it's not a
benefit?
significant portion of what I have.
Don't you think that once we get the spot Bitcoin ETF approval, then there will be even more, crazy speculation on ETH after
Yeah,
that?
yeah, and I own that speculation, right?
You are a
That's
speculator.
that's what I own. I own the speculation. Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm buying. I'm buying into the speculation. I'm not buying into ETH, right? I'm buying into on-chain beta that exists on ETH. I'm buying into on-chain beta that exists on Solana. And
Yeah.
everybody else is focusing on the layer rather than focusing on where liquidity can flow. See, and I discussed this the other day, and I'll discuss it here on the show. Money moves in waves, right? And those waves move in different ways. So it moves into the layer one, and it sits there, and it sits there, and it sits there, and then it appreciates. And then as it appreciates, it actually starts to ripple out into all the beta that exists on that chain. So never ignore money that moves onto a chain, because that chain itself, that money ripple effect that has moved on to Solana will move on to higher beta on Solana, right? And same thing with Ethereum. The money that has moved into Ethereum to pump Ethereum will move into higher beta on Ethereum. And it's kind of
Mhm.
like a ripple or a wave. And so when I look at this, I'm like, great, Solana's pumping, but I'm like, what's the beta on Solana?
Just real quick break here. Peter, thank you so much, man. Peter sent us a $5 super chat. Peter, thank you so much. It's really great. We're very, very appreciative. So thank you for that generous tip. We love getting little super chats from you guys. So thanks a lot, Peter. Glad that you are enjoying the content. Thanks a lot, man. Pete, it was he wants the Jasmy chart. All right. Tucker, maybe we could take a look at the Jasmy chart. I don't know much about Jasmy. Maybe we could quickly look at Jasmy.
I got you. Hang on. I gotta
Jasmine is a pretty good chart.
I gotta do
I mean,
something here,
Solana, look,
boys.
at the end of the day, Solana's strong momentum, but the ecosystem is where I'm more interested than the coin itself.
Wrecked.
Were you making this in the background?
Wrecked. It's over for
Walk us through
you.
What
this,
is that?
Tucker. Walk us through this visual. Did you just make this, by the way? Were you
Yeah.
cooking? Because you were kind
I
of
would-
quiet there for like 5 minutes. I was like, "What's he doing?"
Hold on.
He must be
Can we
mining
see
some shit coin on his computer.
Yeah.
can we see Solana from the top to its bottom drop
This is all you
percentage?
need, Will. This is all you need.
Can we see
This is
that?
it.
Hey, can you pull that? Can we pull that up? How far Bitcoin fell back and how far Solana fell back?
Tucker, can
Yeah.
you just walk us through this, man? Walk
Okay,
us through
yeah.
it.
So all you want in terms of risk adjusted return is a Sharpe ratio, right? The issue with the Sharpe ratio is that it docks you for positive volatility as well. So that's why you go to the Sortino ratio, right? Which only hurts your ratio in terms of downside volatility, right? It doesn't punish you for upside, right? So if we look at Bitcoin versus Sol has a higher Sharpe and a 2.5 times bigger Sortino, right? So this is all you're looking for in terms of risk adjusted returns. I just ran it for the last year, basically. This is what you get, right? I mean, I could do it with DOT, I could do it with ADA. We could see what
So
happens,
to
right?
be
But
fair, Tucker, though, what if you went back and did it for like the past 3 years to incorporate the negative, like the bear market conditions as well? Because it does work both ways, right?
yeah, you could definitely do it like you could just do like 2023, 2022, whatever, go back. And I can do that. We can do that. But
I'd be curious because I feel like this doesn't. So in bullish conditions, right? This makes a lot of sense, but I do think it's potentially cherry picking, like, very frothy conditions over the past year, or, an accumulation to a huge breakout.
no, yeah. But we gotta, like, in terms of going forward, what to expect, like we're going into a spot ETF, like we want to see how it works in good conditions.
That's
Right. Like
fair. That's
if I
fair.
want to see how it operates in a bear market, then
Well,
I'll
Sol
run
already
this
had
when
the
it's
performance in
2025.
2021.
Hmm?
Had its performance in 2021. It did really well. If you were to put the same model on Ethereum Bitcoin, it would look exactly the same, if not better. Right? From
I
inception.
don't think so.
If
I
I
don't think
had
From it
so.
ETH here instead
no
of
no
Sol,
from inception. From
oh
inception, I would
yeah.
argue that
Oh,
Sol
from
did exactly
inception.
did the same thing.
I mean, I can do all that after the show, and we can
Yeah,
look at it
that's
tomorrow
all
if
I'm
you need.
saying. Like it now does it mean that adoption is coming to Soul? I think it is. I definitely think it is. I think Soul will be a contender for layer ones and will be a competitor for Ethereum on layer ones. I don't think it's an ETH killer, right? I think there's a lot of interest in ETH. And especially with ETFs, I don't think people put in the time and effort with ETFs to just let Ethereum go and move into
Ye-
Soul.
Ethereum is the most decentralized out of all these, we'll call them smart contract chains, where,
Hmm.
you build these products like what's in the Sol ecosystem and ETH and a lot. I mean, there's so many, L1s now that kind of compete with ETH. And the reality is, man, I mean, people don't want to talk about this, but they pull the plug on Sol, right? And like, the whole thing could go down. It's highly centralized. I don't think it really matters. I don't think you truly have to worry about it too much. But when we're talking about security as well, like, there really is no second best to Bitcoin, not even close, And if you wanted to pick a second best, even though there isn't, it would be Ethereum, right? Like, if you want to chase beta oh my goodness, who could have foreseen?
Who could have foreseen, man?
Yeah, for me, Max, it's about trying to just absolutely kill, because this is where I messed up a little bit in 2021. Is I went too heavy weighted on the mid caps and ignored a good chunk of the small caps that I could have absolutely killed it on, that I was paying attention to. And
Yeah.
now I'm doing the opposite this time around. I want to see my performance potential. So I'm doing a little more on the extreme side and the small caps, and doing a little heavier weighted on the safety, right? And the safest thing, again, I think, when you're looking at fallback, I'm not talking about upside potential, I'm not talking about growth. I'm talking about just like on a decline bear market is Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, if you know how to hit those rotations, right? Like, Bitcoin drew down from its all-time high, what, like, just under 80%, give or take. What did
Hmm.
Solana drop down? 97, 98?
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, if you're talking about somebody with $1 million portfolio, I mean, that makes a big difference. That is a big, big difference.
Yeah.
So it's like Sol is great during bullish conditions, but you got to know when to get out of it, you know?
Yep. And somebody brought up too. They said it doesn't mean you have to round trip your soul, and I said, arguably, I think a lot of people did. A lot of people round trip that all the way back down to 8. I don't think majority. This is a win lose game, right?
Yeah.
99% of participants, 95%. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. 95% of participants rode that thing to the bottom. They rode it all the way back down, and 5% got out with all their liquidity.
Yeah. And I mean, look, nobody, the meme where it's like there's a really long line to buy Sol at $80, but a really short one to buy Sol at, 15. That's true right here. People are paying $5,000 or $6,000 for, let's call it what it is, a very shitty phone that's just giving you airdrops. Okay. Everybody
Hmm.
thinks that, like, the Sol phone is great now. It's not. Nobody wanted the Sol phone until it gave you free money. Right. So everybody wants Sol right now, and Sol products to be a part of the Sol ecosystem, because there is liquidity there, like Will mentioned. You know, it's the shiny thing. Okay. But to think that it lasts forever is, in my opinion, naive. You have to know when to take profits back to Bitcoin. You have to.
Let me ask you something, Max. How many people are talking about PayPay right now?
Good
Not
old
I'm not
many.
talking about
PayPay.
it in our inner circle. I'm not talking about it in our inner circle. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few, but not really, you know.
But does everybody remember when everybody said that PayPay was going to run the market and PayPay is starting the bull run and PayPay is going to run the whole bull run?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean us. I mean CT. So
Yeah.
I guess the point that I'm trying to get to is that this is the mindset people get into when they see number go up, right? And this is why people round trip their profits. They round trip them because they're not in the mindset of realizing profits. They're in the mindset of number go up. And if I just keep talking positive about it and I tell everybody else who floods my bags, ignore them, right? That number will keep going up. That's not how number goes up. Number goes up until number doesn't go up. And then eventually number either plays sideways to the rest of the bull and does nothing, or number, potentially has small but minimal growth into the bull, or number completely retraces and gets wrecked because of some hacker exploit.
Will, you brought up Pepe, man. Are you bullish on Pepe?
No, I am. I think I love. Here's the thing. I love when people stop talking about things, because when they stop talking about them, say I missed something, right? I missed a play. I wait until everyone stops talking. Sheba did the same thing. Everyone stops talking. Pull up Shiba Inu real quick. And I think Shiba's a great example there, Tucker, if you can pull that up. Scroll way out.
Dude, these meme coins are gonna rip. When SHIB starts ripping again, I'm selling everything.
Yeah.
Look, you got the initial pump, you got the initial dump. What happened in that sector in between before the next pump? Everybody shut the hell up and stop talking about SHIB. Everybody shut up and stop talking
Do
about
you
SHIB.
think we're like where Pepe's like in here somewhere?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely think Pepe is somewhere in there. Oh, sorry,
What do
Pepe.
you
My
what
bad.
I would agree with you. I have seen some. I don't even want to call it FUD, or maybe it's just cope. But apparently there was another Pepe that came out like years and years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's been some cope about it where people are like, this is the real Pepe. Like the Pepe that pumped earlier this year was made by a bunch of scammers, and they already left the project. Nah, nah, nah. So I don't know. I don't know if that's real. I mean, I know it exists. Clearly, we're looking at it, but I don't know if that would deter the Pepe that pumped earlier this year from pumping again or not.
Well, people were talking about that while it was pumping. It just everybody silenced those people.
Do you
That's
think it matters though? Like, do you
I don't
think
think
it
it
would?
matters. No, I don't
You
think
don't
any of
think it
that shit
matters. So you
matters.
think that the Pepe that pumped earlier this year, not the one we're looking at right now, you think
Look,
the one that pumped
Max,
earlier this year will be the Pepe that pumps next cycle?
there are yes. I don't think there's ever a 2.0 of anything. There are market.
Well, no, Will, just so you're understanding me correctly, the Pepe that pumped earlier this year is the 2.0.
No, no,
Apparently,
no,
there
no,
was a
no.
Pepe before.
Yeah,
When
yeah, yeah.
something listen, when something does exponentials, that's your 1.0. It doesn't matter how many trial runs ran before it,
Okay, I
right?
see. I see. So you're saying because it pumped and it had the attention, even if the other one was the first one, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's where
All
the
right.
liquidity flows. There are market makers actively trapped in Pepe right now. Like actively trapped. What do they have to do? I mean, look, I'll give you a great example. Go to FTX token. Go to FTX token. Why the hell is it pumping?
Are you talking about FTT?
Yeah, FTT. Yeah. Who did that? Who did that?
Bunch of apes.
I don't know. Yeah.
The point being is people want out of these things. So the only way to get out is to create structure and start making people think dumb shit. Because retail, they're just dumb. They don't understand when that they're being manipulated in a lot of these things.
But I don't know if there's market makers stuck in Pepe, man. I mean, I think it was a meme coin that pumped. So I mean,
Do you think?
somebody's stuck, right? But I don't think it's comparable to like FTT or something like
No,
that.
no. But here's the thing, Max. I don't think any coin gets to $1 billion valuation and doesn't have a market maker involved.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's fair. I mean, Pepe did really just start on chain, so they got involved towards the tail end. But I mean, if you think about it too, as soon as it got listed on Binance, the thing dumped. Like that marked the top, the global top on Pepe was the Binance listing. But something comparable happened with SHIB. If you look at the SHIB chart, as soon as SHIB got listed on Binance, so you have to look at this is the Binance chart. Look at it went down as soon as it got listed on Binance, reaccumulated, and then it pumped again. Right. So we might be seeing that exact same thing with Pepe, where it gets listed on Binance, nukes, reaccumulates, and maybe we get that same pump, and exceed the previous all-time high later.
I don't have the chart in front of me, but I like to use Twitter as an example on Elon, right? When Elon was buying Twitter and they didn't know that he actually had 10% of their stock, the chart never pumped. It never pumped once. It just held its floor. That's it. It literally just held its floor. And nobody saw that Elon was accumulating. And this is how market makers move. This is how they enter markets. They buy your sells, right? The buy side of your sell side is the market maker. And eventually the market maker starts twapping his moves to the upside. And they do this in a way that can make them profitable and allow them to get out of their positions, but if they want to fully exit, and or to manipulate markets into getting people to buy basic vaporware at the end of the day. And I've seen it time and time again in crypto. Like, I don't know if these are older market makers or older guys that were like hedge fund managers or guys that just they know liquidity, right? They know how to play the ups and the downs. They know how to play the buy side and the sell side to create momentum. And anything that pumps has somebody involved like that.
And
That
you have to recognize me as an individual as being the man that's going to pump up our likes right now. Okay. Speaking of guys that are involved in pumps. So guys, we got 100 people watching combined right now between YouTube and Twitter. All right. I know we're short staffed today, but we need that support now more than ever because we are short staffed today. So guys, let's see. We got 54 likes on YouTube, and on Twitter, we got 15 likes. I need at least 20 on Twitter, guys. If you're watching on Twitter and you haven't liked it yet, it's so easy. Just hit that little heart button, all right? On YouTube, all right, we got 80 people watching almost on YouTube, 56 likes. We need a 1-to-1, guys. Just if you could do us the solid, make sure that you're signed into your Google account, your YouTube account, and hit that thumbs up button for us. It does wonders for the channel. It does wonders for our growth. And the reason that we're growing so quickly is because of you guys. You guys show up every single day. You support us. You subscribe. You like. We do it for you guys. We show up every single day and you guys show up every single day. So again, please, if you could just take one quick moment, do us the solid and make sure that you have liked the stream if you are enjoying the content. We greatly appreciate your guys' continued support. Furthermore, if you are new here, this is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. This is our daily live show. We are now bringing it to YouTube and Twitter. We are live Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern time, usually with a cast of 5 guys. It's me, Tucker, Will's Outlook. You got Tommy, who's traveling right now. We also have Jackus, who will maybe be joining us for the second half. That's the full cast. Wish Jackus luck. I think he's having some car issues right now. He's in the shop, but he'll probably be here later. But yeah, guys, if you are new here and you are enjoying the content, maybe this is your first time seeing it, hit that subscribe button as well. Make sure to subscribe so that you can be notified of whenever we go live, which again is 5 days a week. And we basically go live for 1.5 to 2 hours, and it's just an alpha dump. It's just an absolute alpha dump. So let's see if we can get these likes up on YouTube, guys, and then we'll get right back to the content. All right, we're at 63. We're getting there. Let's see on Twitter. We're at 17. All right, we're getting close, guys. 3 more likes on Twitter, and just run this up on YouTube for us, guys. Run it up. But thanks for being here, guys. Greatly appreciate it. The Bitcoin chart that you had, Tucker, if you go back to Bitcoin real quick, this looks like a chart that is just waiting for a news announcement to pop, to God candle. You know, it looks to me like it is going to be pinned here, and it's waiting for a $6,000 gap up candle off of like an ETF approval news tweet. It really does. I don't know if we're going to get it or not, but what the heck is going, like, why did it drop down, reaccumulated, and now it's just sitting here at the previous high? It looks like it's waiting for something.
No, it does. It does. And I mean, you can just look at this like a range too, right? Just like, here's your big FVG, here's your midpoint, held the low, right? We were saying if it held this midline at like 42.2, we're probably going to go for the highs. We've done that. Obviously, this is a big level. We did kind of sweep these body candles, this range high. So wouldn't love to see this thing get retraced. Obviously, that would not be good, but I agree. It does. I mean, if you zoom out, I mean, it looks like it wants higher. Like it looks like this was a pullback that wants to put in a higher high, most likely.
Yeah, but Tucker, this is a discussion we had probably, I want to say a month ago or maybe 3 weeks ago. But remember when we put SPY and Bitcoin side by side, this was the area we were looking for the chop based on SPY.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
For like a solid 2-3 months, it looked like it would probably chop sideways if it were to match SPY.
Yeah. So where were we? We were looking for 48K to get taken because this got taken.
I think it will.
We were looking for, I guess,
right in the middle.
No, to the left. Okay, so go on SPY. Move your cursor to the right. Is in May. That vertical accumulation in May of this year, right there. That's the vertical accumulation Bitcoin had in the mid 30s. Okay. Yes, and where we're at right now is one level. Yeah, right there.
You probably just did this.
That was that exactly. That's where we're at right now.
Exactly.
2% on SPY. It was 10% on Bitcoin, which makes sense.
So now fractal that for me, man. Let's see if the masseuse can do this for us.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. And I don't know about the pullback. I'm not going to comment on that at this point. Maybe we get it. Maybe we don't.
We'll see if we do. We'll see if we don't.
We'll address it when the time comes. But all I know is that, in my opinion, higher before lower.
Powell told us higher for longer. That's what we're getting.
Yeah, so we did the vertical. I mean, you got to smash it
right there.
Bit, but
I mean, something like this.
Imagine the Fed coming out and saying higher for longer, and that being the meme for markets.
Imagine we go to 50K and then nuke to 33 and then go back to 60. Imagine if this actually happens.
Yeah,
not impossible, boys. Not impossible.
Not impossible at all.
But I think that if we're talking about fractals, 1-for-1, a lead lag between legacy and crypto, this is as close as you're going to get.
Yeah, and it's even more crazy on Ethereum, right? The same.
Pull it up, then. Let's do it. Let's cook.
Let's cook.
I think we should cook on Sol and put that same fractal there.
Oh my God! What are those?
Oh, don't worry about those. That's too much alpha.
The world's not ready for those yet.
Those are his top calls.
No, definitely not. So yeah, that's the same shoulder. Same shoulder on ETH. We didn't quite vertically
Tommy said look at coin, and we also need to look at Rivian.
I think that ETH is in a steeper vertical accumulation right now, Tucker. Like, I think it'd be something like that, but steeper. Like you probably won't. Yeah. Like something like that. I feel like we haven't broken out yet on ETH.
Yeah.
We haven't covered Jasmine either for the super chat.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, we need to do that.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. Sorry, Peter. I know we talked about it and we got distracted. And one thing I want to mention here, I put out a whole thread on my Twitter about this. There is so much seasonality at play with ETH and ETH BTC that, yes, right now, nobody wants ETH. Everyone wants Sol, and everybody, Bitcoin spot ETF approval. don't fade the seasonality. You know, we've been down this road many, many times. Don't fade the seasonality. December is the historically the best time to buy Ethereum. Historically, by a lot, by the way. I'll pull up my thread later, but let's get to Jasmine before we forget again, and then we can come back to this.
This is a Soul Winter. Nobody will forget. Doesn't mean it won't roll out though.
Tucker, if we could go to Jasmine real quick, just so we don't forget again.
Yeah, can you imagine 3K and then 2K on ETH?
I could imagine that. Yeah.
I mean, here's the problem with Jasmine, man. I just
So I like the bottoming structure, but I don't like how much it's down, honestly.
Well, you had an information that basically veered right out the bottom again.
Here's the thing about something like Jasmine. A lot of these tickers they print similar bottoms, but a lot of them will not go on to make new highs or even pressure / test their previous all-time highs, where I believe something like Solana will. So, you know, it probably pumps, but it might just do like what Neo did in, it was like, what, 2018 maybe, where it, you know, it pumped, but it didn't go back to its all-time high.
And I do think that's the case for a lot of things. But I also think there's a lot of laggards in the market right now, at least where we're at right now. I think there's a lot of laggards, and I think it's due to the attention that certain ecosystems have drawn to them, and so other things are lagging. And I think that once other ecosystems start to become a little more mainstream, I'll gain a little bit more attention, because I think everything will gain attention at some point. You'll start to see these things actually pop off pretty hard.
Probably.
You know, it looks similar to this, and I know you guys can't see what chart it is, but
that looks great. I like it.
Yeah, that actually is interesting, Tucker. What percentage did Jasmine go down from its all-time high?
99.
Yeah, it's down massively from its all-time high. Still down.
I mean, does it have the interest to actually recover? You know what I mean? Like, I know it could pump off this low, but I'm talking, does it actually have
99, man?
Your upside.
You're cutting out, Will.
Your upside to downside looks pretty good. Yeah, I got a phone call. My bad. Your upside to downside looks pretty good. Like your risk to your RR here on a low amount of capital is not bad.
Yeah.
Especially if you think the whole market's gonna go absolutely ape shit at some point.
I mean, these things will pump, you know. I just don't. I mean, if you're talking about like a long-term hold, you know, Jasmine against something like a Soul, I don't really think there's even a debate, truthfully. I mean, you could rotate in and out of stuff like this, but
they're not comparable right now. But like here, I would arguably say look at something like Luna to ETH until Luna actually popped off.
Are you comparing Jasmine to Luna?
No, I'm just saying, like, you can't look at anomalies as, you know, as potentially not possible, but I am saying that Jasmine does have use case. So yeah, I would say that, you know, it could catch a bit at some point.
What's the use case of Jasmine? I'm actually asking. Like, I don't know.
So here, I'll send you a thing real quick, but Jasmine, LRC, like all these are pretty much like infrastructure type coins, right? So more or less, I think infrastructure will get a much bigger bid than a lot of people are actually anticipating.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go back to that ETH fractal. I think we spent a good bit of time talking about Jasmine. I don't even know what it is. I'll be completely honest, but oh man, we got another super chat here. All right, producer grind. Thank you so much, man. $10. Damn, we've made $15 this stream, guys. We're cooking. Thank you so much, producer grind, man. We greatly appreciate that. Very generous of you. Very generous $10 tip. Let's talk about Tell.
There you go. That's the Jasmine ecosystem for you guys to see you get a little more hip.
Oh, Tell coin. I remember Tell coin.
Tell is going to hell. That's what it's doing.
Let's do some TA on it.
Nothing.
I mean, pumped pretty hard off the low already. Don't love that it's kind of curling back, but
So
Yeah.
last cycle, when I was looking at Tell, I had a buddy and he was telling me how Tell was going to $1. And I told him he was high.
oh man,
But
Producer Grind hit us with another one, man. Oh my. $20 from Producer Grind. Thank you so much, man. Also look into Honey, Hive Mapper.
Hive Mapper, yeah. Hive Mapper's a good one. That is a good one.
I don't have strong thoughts on Tell, but Tucker, what are you seeing from a technical perspective?
I mean, just within this little range, you could say one of these, you could say one of those potentially if you reclaim. But I mean, on a higher time frame, I agree. I don't love that it's kind of curling back down. It's just like, where's the interest going to come from, right? Like, who is going to buy this? Not that it can't do something like that, but I think if it did, did pump again like that, you do like this, and then like that would be it.
The one thing.
So that's. Can you pull up? Sorry, Will, I didn't mean to cut you off. Can you pull up another chart next to this? I think it was Neo. Pull up Neo, and let's look at what happened in like 2018.
Oh, Neo.
I believe last time I looked into Tell,
yeah, there we go.
Canada
So
was
if we
using
look at 2018, yeah, see what it did there where it pumped hard but didn't get to a new all-time high. Maybe you could fix those a little bit so we can see them better. So if we're looking at Telcoin versus something like Neo, this theme that I think we're going to see a lot of is a lot of these altcoins, including Tel or Jasmy, will appear to have similar bottom formations to something like a Sol, but they're going to be, battling for liquidity and investor interest against these new projects, and they'll pump like Neo. They might get close to an all-time high or, rally aggressively off the low, but they won't ever fully recover because there's just simply too much competition. There's new projects, new tickers, concentrated wealth in something like a Solana that has a lot of attention. So, I mean, yeah, like could Tell pump? Certainly, like given the right conditions, but would I expect it to really pressure its previous all-time high? I would expect it to do something more like Neo here. I think this is a really great example. So
yeah, but so real quick, just Telcoin itself is I think Canada was using it for like some kind of payment systems or whatnot. So it does. I'm not saying that it's going to be some big boomer, but like it does have a use case as far as what
yeah,
it's doing. But outside of that, yeah, like I mean, I think that what you're saying there is spot on with that price action. Jasmy again, so Jasmy is an aggregator. It's basically, well, not really aggregator, but it basically discloses information between IoT devices and decentralized protocols, and just basically allows information to flow between the two pretty seamlessly. That's the purpose of that. And then Hive Mapper, which is Honey, which is what he's asking about Honey, not Hive.
What is Honey? What's the ticker?
can we even pull it up on TradingView, or is it like a deck screener type of?
You might have to
Might have to be deck screener. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honey Moon token or the Hive? What's it on? Phantom?
No, it's a Sol thing. It looks like
It's a Sol, but they're using Hive Mapper. It looks like from what he's saying, and Hive Mappers that's a that's a pretty big one right there. Hive Mapper is what they're using for a lot of mapping the systems and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't know how to pull that up, man.
I don't know if we can get it on TradingView. Let's see. I mean, it's pumped, man. Wow, nice. So it's let me see. I mean, it's like you could buy it on Jupiter, so it's going to be like it's going to be Sol on chain. Like it probably isn't listed on TradingView yet.
Hang on, let's do bird's eye. Let me pull this
you're
up.
not sharing your screen.
I know. Hang on.
Yeah, it's not on TradingView yet. That's kind of what we figured. Probably too small. We could check out Deck Screener. Let's see.
Honey, okay, it's on Sol. On Radium. Okay, hang on, I'll share this. Oh wow. Okay. Boom.
So I
Okay.
guess
Yeah, all
Honey
right,
is
here we
helping
go.
Hive Mapper. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know much about what it does, but
I like that buyback on that drop it just had, man. That's some clear
yeah,
layered bids down there. I'll just
yeah.
tell you this for the time being, anything that's trading on Sol, on chain like this, um, as long as Solana USD remains strong and holds $75 and doesn't really pull back, Solana on chain, whatever it does, Honey or anything else, it's just gonna pump, man. It's just gonna be beta to Sol. So there's always going to be, outliers where even if Sol USD pulls back from 80 to 50 or something like that, and some Sol on chain might hold up. I don't know if Honey will or not, but I wouldn't fade anything Sol on chain that has been showing strength recently. If you want to, like the best alpha I could give on, Sol on chain, something like this, not knowing much about it, is just keep an eye on Sol USD. As long as Sol USD looks good, people are going to throw stupid money at, Sol on chain. And it
So I
looks like
just
this one's been running really, really well.
I
Mhm.
looked into it. It looks like some kind of like financial loan service. I don't see anything about Hive mapping, but
Is it like Sol
um,
DeFi?
yeah, it looks
Something.
like DeFi. And man, its name is Honey. I'll tell you, I saw a lot of things named Honey in 2021. They end up being honey pots. So I don't know.
Wait
I
a
will say
second. This thing has 67K in liquidity and it's a $1 billion market cap.
oh dear.
That's yeah, your token to dollar valuation's a little obscene, to be honest with you.
That's not good.
I mean, that's a little skewed, right? I mean, okay.
That's
Yeah, maybe be a little careful with that because one guy decides to market dump his bag and it might rug, honestly.
What does
yeah.
that put that at? Does that put it at like $10 a token or something stupid? Like what?
Um, that's a huh. Yeah, that's really low liquidity.
Yeah.
I would keep an eye out for that. Um,
I
is that
wonder.
accurate? Is
I
that
get
is
what
that
hive
real?
mapping is, Alex.
Let
I
me
just
get on
he said it was
CoinGecko.
hive mapping. It doesn't look like hive mapping from what I was reading. It looks like a DeFi play.
On CoinGecko, they have it at 95 mil market cap. So
That
I don't
makes
know what
more
Dex
sense.
Screener's doing, but
Yeah, that seems a little bit more realistic. All right, well,
yeah,
we did get another super chat here, man, from Goose45. What's up, boys? Can we look at polls? Yeah, man,
polls.
let's check it
Okay.
out.
Let me unshare and reshare.
POLS, Poker Starter play from the dot ecosystem.
What do you think about it, Will?
I think it's absolutely ripping. I think you're already above resistance here, but I think polls is a play for sure. Like
That's
this is
it's at the level it needs, right? Like
well, here's
right
the
there.
thing. Pull a second chart up beside that real quick, Tucker. I'm gonna give you an example of why this is running. And this is the same thing I told a lot of you if you've been following me since the bottom of the bear. This is why I told you guys to buy these freaking stupid ass whitelist coins, right? Go to now pull up on the other one, pull up paid, PAID.
Oh, Will, you
And
hit like a 30x on this one.
yeah, a lot of people are just not paying attention.
Is
They're
it the
just
wrapped
not
ETH
paying
one,
attention.
Will?
There should be a USDT pairs, they're not.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I guess you could do ETH or whatever. So look at the play here. Look at the two side by side.
Did this thing rug?
No, it's just it's ETH valuations down,
Called
but it's
reaccumulation, Tucker.
It looks
oh
like
you're
it
talking about the
rugged.
downside. Yeah, it got absolutely annihilated, bro. It would. I don't know if you saw June, but like a lot of these guys, I told them to get it like a penny, and and it just absolutely tore off the floor. But look, every single like one of these whitelist type plays, these things absolutely tear when there is speculation. But when speculation goes away, they absolutely get annihilated. You have to sell them. You have to sell them.
So
You cannot stake them.
what do you think about Polka Starter, Will?
Look at the plays. Scroll out on PokerStarter and pull out on or both of
Well, I
them.
know, but what do you think happens from here? Like they've both pumped.
I think they're
you
going
know,
to
to
cool
answer the
down and they're going to rip
question
again.
for
I
do
think
you
you're
think
going
the
to form.
Polka Starter can keep going up?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because the frothier the market gets, the more speculation comes in, and all these whitelist plays they come into more play. This is your average retailer's entry into projects prior to launch,
Okay.
right? All like look at the pattern here, Tucker. Literally look at the pattern. Look at the drop. Like scroll them as tight as you can.
Like that.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I
Now, now,
guess you can't
now,
really see the bottoming structure on
there you
paid
go.
when you're
No, no,
not zoomed
I
out.
wanted to zoom out more. Scroll now. Scroll. There you go. Look at how both of these charts absolutely got annihilated the same way. They're the
I think paid
exact
got
same type
annihilated
of
more.
play.
You can't even see the bottoming structure on paid, man. I
It did.
mean,
It did.
that's real destruction. But I
Yeah,
think you
this
have to
looks
look at a lot of
insane.
these paid and Polka Starter and Sol and just a lot of these other altcoins, man. They're just reclaiming their bear market range lows right now.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry,
Th-
bull market range lows. You know,
This
like that
is
80
this.
cent level on Polka Starter, you hold above 80 cents. I mean, that box you're drawing there, Tucker, those should be deviations. That's deep value that really shouldn't be revisited. You know, if we're gonna start ripping here, recognizing like where the deep value reaccumulation of a lifetime was, and where can we not go back underneath again. And I think you have the levels marked out there for both. And there's a lot of altcoin charts that look like that, where they
But
spent a
this.
year to 2 years in distressed deep value pricing and are now breaking out of that with gusto.
Yeah. This is the thing that I was talking about prior. Here is that there's certain things that if you know, right? And Polka Starter was one, Paid was one. I think there was a couple on Metapad, right? That was another one. You can go. I think there's a Binance Launchpad too. These are all launch pads essentially, right? Launch pads they work best in high speculation, high frothy markets, and they work worse in markets where people have lost hope. And you can see the lost hope on these drawdowns, and then you can see the spike in interest. These are really good measurements of how interested the market is in pushing higher, right? And because these are so close to their lows, I would arguably say that the market wants more, right? Like people calling for tops on Bitcoin, they don't understand the speculation has just started. It's
And
literally
Will,
just
to that
started.
point, typically the crazy mania alt season happens after Bitcoin puts in a local top.
Yeah, yeah,
And
here
Bitcoin, in my opinion, hasn't put in that local top yet.
and keep in mind these things don't even have to go back to all-time high max. Like they can literally do exactly what Tucker pointed out before, come back and reclaim the 70% drawdown and
Yeah.
then stop there, right? But even at the 70% drawdown, look at your exponentials on Paid, for instance, at the 70% drawdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are so far in the money, it's
I mean,
not
it
even
gets into
funny.
that. Okay, Tucker, can you pull up another chart here?
Mhm.
I want to look at Helium, okay, because Helium is a project that I was very interested in last cycle. And it went from $55 all the way down to like $1. So do the crypto one so you can see the full history. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So it's got that similar look to Paid, where if you look at Helium, man, look at what happened. It got destroyed. So I had a bag of Helium and I literally in my mind wrote it off as like it's worthless. You know, like it literally just like it rugged, the project must be dead. I stopped following along with what they were doing. And then I see it basically exiting this reaccumulation. And now, you know, I log in and I check my wallet and I'm like, oh wow, this investment might actually be worth something, you know, because what they did during the bear market, okay, during the bull market, it was all hype. It was all promise. It was all, you know, helium miners, you know, a lot of them were gaming the system and taking advantage of, you know, like, I don't know. There was a lot of like things that needed to be fixed so people could kind of game the mining a bit. So it wasn't very fair. People were exploiting it. and you couldn't actually use the Helium network, to get a phone plan. It's supposed to be like a decentralized 5G network. Okay. And all throughout the bear market, their token gets destroyed. It drops from, $55, $60 down to $1. Okay. It gets absolutely destroyed. But turns out during the entire bear market, they were grinding, working. You can actually get a Helium phone plan now, and they migrated their network to Solana, which was a really smart play. So it's like, you got to keep an eye on some of these projects, because if they can not only just survive the bear market, but their token gets distressed and they actually deliver on the promises of the previous bull market, oh my gosh, I'm so bullish on Helium now. I'm probably not going to use a Helium phone, maybe I will. We'll see how it goes. But the fact that you actually can, and they've delivered on a real world project, and they survived the bear market, 99% drawdown, so maybe Paid Network is similar, Will. You watched it closely. They got destroyed, but if they actually deliver, you'll never revisit these prices again, not even close. Talk about deep value.
Yeah, no,
And
I
a hush
agree.
fell over the room.
I think the Soul Phone integration for
Oh
Helium
shit, I was muted. My bad.
was huge. Look, I mean, they give you these Helium SIM cards when you get your Soul Phone. So like just automatically, you don't have to buy them, right? And it's like $20 a month for service. I don't even use it because I still have my iPhone. I just use it on Wi-Fi to like play around in Soul's DeFi eco. But I mean, it is a good use case at this point for Helium now.
No, but the thing is Helium was offered a plan for $5, and they were offering their own phone. But then they took the opportunity to take advantage of the liquidity on Solana. And I think what they did is they made a deal with them that they'll provide the network for Solana. And I think Solana's charging $20 for the plan, right? So Solana's making 3x over the value of Helium by using their network and selling people a phone essentially for free, right? When you look at the airdrops and the value of the airdrops, you're getting the phone for free. And then they're
man,
basically
you're not getting the phone for free. You're getting paid to buy the phone at this point.
Printing.
And here's the thing though, they're doing this more in a manipulation of the market. It's more or less like how companies do airdrops for multiple thousands of dollars, even if you only had a couple $100 invested, because there's very little participants in those ecosystems. And because there's very little participants, it allows them to make a couple people rich, to draw in the masses to think that they're going to get rich too, right? It's a ploy on people's mentality of just, ape, rock, tree, right? And I look at it like, when you looked at things like Paid, for instance, I didn't care too much about the fundamentals. Like the website looked like a scam, the launchpad looked like a scam when I first used it, but it worked. It worked. And the projects were real that were on there. And I saw that in 2021. And I was like, oh, if these guys continue developing through the bear, and that's something I paid attention to, they redid their website, they redid their launchpad, they added a course, they added a bunch of extra stuff that they were doing through the bear market. And I was just like, man, I was like, they're just doing a ton of stuff through the bear. I'm like, you have to be accumulating this. Like, why is nobody buying this? And then I started telling people, I was like, look, I was like, buy this, buy this, buy this. I'm like, every launch pad, once it gets floored, just absolutely just send on all of them. And I don't think there's a launch pad out there right now that hasn't just absolutely sent off these floors. And your deep value was there if you paid attention. And some people have like, oh, where do I get deep value next? Liquidity is literally, I'll tell you this, Max, like liquidity is rotating through this market. And so many people are ignoring it. They keep on thinking there's tops. And there's not tops until the liquidity stops rotating. Until the shittiest shit thing in this market gets liquidity, this thing ain't stopping. Sorry,
Yeah, I would agree with you, Will. I think we've got plenty of time on this, man. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, I think we're going to have some nasty pullbacks, and I'm also not, I don't know if I'm in the camp yet for like this is the start of a new bull market, because I know that history shows us anything about these, crypto parabolas and cycles that we go through, is that typically either right before the halving or right after you get a big shakeout. It's happened both ways. So either way, I think we have time right now, but hard to say. Hard to say. We'll have to see what happens
FLS.
like early January. We're gonna know a lot more. Like when we get these Bitcoin spot ETFs, once those are approved, I think the price action immediately following the first approval will be very telling on how the next 6 months will go.
Yeah, I agree.
FLSK says, I hope BB talks about the next narratives, not whilst we are in one. Where do we typically talk about the narratives? Because I believe people did get in on paid on 0.015 cents. That's currently setting above 30.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very bullish on like proof of work, like
No,
proof
Max.
of
I
work.
meant where? Where do we typically
Oh,
talk
where? Oh,
about
well,
the
you want to
next
do it right
narratives?
now, huh? You don't want to wait till the end. All right. Now I'm gonna wait for the end. I'm gonna wait for the end.
I
The
think he
spoiler is
wants to know though.
the spoiler is the Discord, and the promise is BB Terminal. But we're gonna get into that at the very end. Dropping
Mhm.
Q1, absolutely disruptive technology. But yeah, no, we will definitely be talking about. We will try to get ahead of as many moves as we possibly can. But yeah, I mean, for me right now, like I'm very bullish on proof of work networks. I think that once the spot ETF gets approved, you're going to see a lot of speculation on what's the next Bitcoin. And the spoiler is there is no next Bitcoin, but it won't stop people from speculating on it. You know how it's like last cycle, oh, this is, or 2 cycles ago, even for like the past 3 or 4 years, oh, this is the ETH killer, this is the ETH killer. This was before ETH was even proof of stake, right? Oh, it's faster and it's cheaper. It's the ETH killer. We're gonna see all this like Bitcoin killer shit because now the institutions have their first cycle. Oh well, JP Morgan's interested in this, or whatever. So L1 proof of work networks, even though I don't believe any of them will even come close to touching Bitcoin, I'll happily chase a little bit of beta right there, outperform, and then rotate back into Bitcoin. I also just think it's going to be a cycle of layer ones, not layer twos. I think that, a lot of things like a Celestia will continue to do very well. Just a lot of shiny L1s, the new proof of stake networks, the new proof of work networks, the new
Yeah,
shiny toy, that
but
it's that simple.
but Max, like the one thing, and I pointed out now for weeks, and I think we just got to keep our finger on the trigger on this one, is that money will ripple, right? As liquidity flows into Ethereum, it will flow back out into smaller speculative vaults, aka we're seeing all these launch pads run, right? And many other things. And then it will continue to flow out. DeFi has already made its move, right? Now we're starting to see launch pads make their move. But I think that that's more of what they're talking about is like, how will that liquidity flow out? And what sectors will it move into? Arguably, I would say gaming has seen very little liquidity.
Yeah.
NFTs, absolutely nothing for liquidity. The ripple will come for everything. And when it comes, it's big. It's a big ripple, right? These are just small, little, tiny moves that are moving into higher speculation and higher speculation. What is the peak of speculation when it comes to crypto? What's the beta on beta? It is absolutely NFTs. That is the beta
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
beta. People can talk all the shit they want about
So
it.
Will, combining those two narratives you just mentioned, NFTs that can be incorporated into games.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
NFTs, a hundred
That's
percent.
beta on beta on beta on beta. There is
There's
levels
no
to the
higher
beta,
beta.
man.
There's no higher beta. And
None.
so what that means is when the final move comes, those things will absolutely explode. People will sell their car to buy your freaking Sonic the Hedgehog NFT that can, make it through round one without dying. Like it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. And
Compi pandas, man. What else is
Compi
there to say?
Pandas. Oh man, don't even get me
Compi pandas
started.
is Compi pandas is the lowest hanging fruit in the entire
It's the
NFT
easiest
space,
play.
man.
The
It is,
Easiest play.
easiest.
dude. I feel the same way
Hey,
about the
Sui, yeah, I
pandas that
like
I
Sui
do
too.
about something like Soul, where I'm like, this is almost a lock. This is as
Mhm.
close to a lock as you can get. There's no such thing as a lock, but if we had to identify a lock, oh my gosh, man. And talk about undervalued relative to other projects too. Insane, man.
Dude, they should be at least on par with Pudgies. At least.
At least.
But here's the thing. Networks like Sui, right? Aptos, those will see more of a bid, and I do like both of those networks, by the way. Those will see more of a bid around the time that you'll start. When you start to think that NFTs are in play, you'll see Sui and Aptos run, because those are the networks I think that a lot of these are choosing, and I think Sui is very undervalued, and this is why I'm in Sui, by the way, too. Uh, we did tell our Discord to buy Sui, just so you guys know, at much lower valuations, and it's in the buying calls. But when you start to see Sui absolutely rip, you'll probably start to see NFTs start to rip, right? Like, this is literally just this is your first acknowledgement that the person got shot, and yes, they were laying there and they were no longer moving, but the crack has kicked in, right? And they're back
Will,
up and
what are you
breathing.
talking about?
All right, they're back up and breathing. So even though they got shot, they're not feeling the bullet wound. They're back up and breathing. And so now we know we could take them to the hospital, and we can get them help, and they're gonna come back. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna be okay. It was just a flesh wound. Okay,
Tucker, can you pull up ETH BTC?
Mm-hmm.
ETH BTC is
Like,
gonna print a 0.04 handle here pretty soon.
Oh my god!
Max,
Actually, real
everything in the
quick,
market. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
real quick. I want to show Will this. Tucker, go to the 6-month chart for me.
Oh my goodness!
Mark out the 6-month imbalance that we're about to enter. Okay.
Oh wow.
Mark, there's a 6-month inefficiency that we're gonna dip into. You're gonna see ETH BTC print a 0.04 something handle.
Put that line on it.
Yep. We're going to dip into there. You're going to see the spot Bitcoin ETF get approved. ETH BTC is going to nuke into that box, and that's going to be the swing low. That's going to be the spring. That'll be your global bottom right in there, somewhere within that box. That's how it's going to go. It's going to be that knee-jerk reaction from the spot ETF getting approved that nukes the ETH BTC valuation.
So, Max, you're saying the fair value gap is going to get filled, and then we're going to absolutely send on the entire market?
Yeah, I think so.
Be something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we're close to a bottom here, but I do think you're going to get you're going to get your final like inverse blow off top, your final exhaustion, your final capitulatory exhaustion for ETH BTC. But I'm telling you, once that happens, once the spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved, I think you have to view a lot of this as one. Ethereum is now being overlooked and neglected. Okay. And it is deep value against its Bitcoin pair. And two, we know that there's talks about, a spot Ethereum ETF. Then I believe you start getting that speculation bubble or movement to Ethereum rather than just Bitcoin. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's very close, right? What, Tucker, percentage wise, what would 0.045 be from here? It would probably just be a quick wick, guys. Like, how much drawdown would that be?
12.
10 to 15% at most. I think you're close to a bottom here, and I don't even think you're going to be able to catch it. Like, I'm doubtful that we drop down there and range. I think it's going to be a wick that gets bought up pretty quickly.
I mean, what do you think the next 12-month candle is going to look like? Like
engulfing. It's going to be a bullish engulfing.
Yeah, it's going to be a monster. Yeah,
it's going to be a monster.
Let me add some context to this. This is all occurring from ETH above $2,000. So anybody who said that you had to work ETH BTC specifically before you could take an entry, you're buying well above the value range, right? Like, all this means is Bitcoin goes up faster than Ethereum. It doesn't mean at all that Ethereum drops really relatively to Bitcoin. And this is what I think so many people miss the plot on. They think that ETH BTC going down means that ETH is losing value, as in like dropping in price to Bitcoin. It just means relatively that Bitcoin is outpacing Ethereum. And if you think Bitcoin is outpacing Ethereum, then guess what, guys? It's a great rotation trade, right? But if you don't, and you think that ETH is where it is, and you really value ETH, you should have already been in ETH. and you should have already been there. Like, I can't
So
make it any
here's
clearer.
I want to talk about this chart with you guys. I posted this on my Twitter, but I want to talk about it here. So this is ETH BTC on the high time frame. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is ETH BTC on the higher time frame right here. This at the bottom is the 180-day ROI for ETH BTC. Okay, so you can see that in December, purchasing ETH against Bitcoin, rather than Bitcoin, has far and away the highest 6-month ROI. All right. So now I'm marking out every single December right here. Okay. Every single December in the history of ETH BTC. Going back, here's 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 1, 2, 3, and now where we're currently at right now. Okay. So I'm looking at all of this, and we recognize that 5 of the previous 8 Decembers have been bullish for ETH BTC. Okay, or if you had bought Ethereum rather than Bitcoin in 5 of the last 8, it's been a very, very good time for you. 3, we had some like little bounces, but ultimately not that good. All right. So to be fair, the previous 2 have been bad. Will we get a third? I don't know. But I also recognize that we are coming into, let's put up the Bitcoin halvings. Oops. Bitcoin halvings. In the previous 2 Bitcoin halvings as well, you can see that here, if you had bought the December before the Bitcoin halving in 2016, major outperformance. If you had bought in the December, if you had bought in the December before the 2020 Bitcoin halving, you had serious outperformance. And now we have our next halving here in April as we are approaching this legacy trend line after serious drawdown with seasonality as a tailwind. So I'm like, how much lower do you think it really goes here? Maybe a little bit, but I'm willing to rely on the data for the most part. I really am. I am a believer in seasonality. I think it is real. I think that it affects markets. I also recognize we only have 2 data points, right? But I also do recognize the importance of, how has been, how, if you had been buying Ethereum instead of Bitcoin going into the pre-halving December, how did you do? Pre-halving your December. Both times really solid. So we know that December is historically a good month for ETH. It's also historically even a better month for ETH BTC, which is what we're looking at right now. So ETH's performance against Bitcoin. And in pre-halving years, it's also extremely good. Again, we only have 2 data points, but still, that's the truth. So, maybe you get something wild, like, maybe, this is that 6-month FEG that Tucker had drawn right here. So maybe there's a scenario where, it does this, right? Maybe we dip down and then you reclaim.
Absolutely not, Max. Nobody's getting entries. Absolutely not.
I mean, I don't know if you'll get time to buy it, but I could see a wick. I could see a sweep.
Look, this thing, Max. Since before your first red X there, you've been coiling. You've been coiling and coiling and coiling and slow grinding down. You never want to see that if you're a bear.
And
You
also,
never want to see a slow grind down.
Will, I know you're going to love this. Will. Let me show you. Oh, dirty old bear div. Or I'm sorry, dirty old bull div. Look at this on the weekly time frame, man. Look at this bull div.
Don't
Lower
fade
low
weekly.
here.
Don't
Now
fade
hang on.
weekly.
Let's look at RSI. Oh, look at that. We're
You got to
starting
turn
to
around here to
div.
form it, though. Got to turn around here.
You could go down a little bit more as long as the RSI doesn't get below 26 and we start to bounce from there, then it's fine. I mean, that could be.
Yeah. But as of this moment, it's still going down.
Well, here's the thing. Look. Let me explain to you something. ETH is not going to slow grind up. ETH is going to pop off when it actually moves, because the actual price suppression you're seeing here, that's what coiling means. Coiling means price suppression. And unless you're bearish on the market, which if you are, good luck, because there ain't a single bearish thing I can see in this market. Unless you're bearish on the market, this coil is going to end to the upside. And so I think like you're going to see a God candle at some point with Ethereum. Now, I do think it will consolidate. And this is why I tell people, like, hey, if you're chasing Solana, keep in mind there's going to be a rotation of liquidity, right? And that does not mean the money leaves Solana and the Solana network. It just means that the interest goes elsewhere. And so people look for things that are deep in the value red, or as Max likes to call it, deep in the money calls, right? If you were in the stock market, I would say Ethereum is one of those deep in the money calls if it were a stock. And looking at it, it literally looks like it wants a spring load and shoot straight up to the upside. And I don't
Well,
mean like
it's
it has to
going
do
to.
exponentials, but like it's going to do exponentials.
It's going to. I mean, it's we're talking about, from a 12-month perspective. I mean, let's look at this. All right. I think what's going to end up happening here is, I mean, for one, we're seeing a capitulation here. So I think what we're going to likely see, is, I would look at this as like your inverse parabola. And what's going to happen is when this finally breaks to the upside, talk about beach ball underwater, man. Suddenly ETH is going to be good tech again. It's going to literally it's going to do this, it's going to be absolutely incredible.
Max, you hit the nail on the head. And that's the point I'm talking about with Solana. Everybody's eyes are on Solana, right? It's look at my right hand, not at my left. And then all of a sudden Ethereum's gonna pop off. And then everybody's gonna be jumping ship on Solana. And then guess what? I'll buy all their bags on Solana while they jump ship. And then once they jump ship again, I'll buy the bags on the other side, because this is how the market is rotating. It's rotating from chain to chain to chain, and people are just not paying attention. They're chasing the green candles rather than trying to be ahead of the moves.
I mean, dude, all these highs right here, like these are going to get swept in one engulfing candle.
Max,
There's so many highs here that are going to get tagged. I don't think I've ever seen a chart quite like this before. This is incredible. All of these are getting hit. All of these are getting hit.
yeah, if you look at the previous move, Max, go back to where it dropped before and then just ripped
You're talking about right
to the
here.
left. No, more to the left. That. Look at the $800 move.
Oh, I see what you're talking about, Will. You're
The
talking
low,
about
the low.
this.
Well, there's that, but go more to your right, down there at the bear, not at the bear bottom, right? Look at that first rip, not that one. More to your right,
This
more to
one.
your right. No, more.
Give me a date, Will. My goodness.
I can't see the dates. Sorry, I'm on my phone. Hold on a second.
Okay.
More to the right, more to the right. Put on the monthly. See those 1, 2 candles?
Right here.
Nope. More to your right. The big ones, the white ones,
Oh, right here.
right there. That's what I
Yeah.
think Ethereum's gonna do.
I'm hearing an echo. It's Tucker again. Tucker.
No, it ain't me.
No, it might have been me. I was holding my hand over my
Well,
mic.
just let me blame Tucker. Come on.
No, take it, Will.
But see those 2 white candles we just looked at on the monthly, the
Yeah,
weekly
right
right
here.
there?
Yeah.
That's what
You're
I
talking
think.
about
If
right
they
here.
like overlay that on a fractal of where we're at.
You're talking about this.
Yes. Go
Yeah,
to
we
fractal
are
that
going to
up.
see something like this. We are. Very much so. Oops. It's going to look like this.
Nah, higher. Much higher.
No.
Whatever. You get the
going
point.
over
Wherever
that
it
top,
goes, it
bro.
goes.
It's going over that top.
It's going to take out all these wicks. Here's where maybe I disagree with you just a little bit, though, Will. Is that I think we're going to rip through all these highs here. I mean, even looking at it on an inverse, right? Like this parabola, when it breaks, this thing is going to come crashing down, right? Crashing through all these wicks, all these vulnerable wicks. But where I slightly disagree, and I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope you're right. I own a lot of ETH. Let's look at the Bitcoin halvings. I'm throwing them on here. I think that it's going to take a little bit of time So I actually think that we might do something more akin to this, Will. So let's do a little fractal here. I think you're going to get something later. You're going to get the crazy ETH BTC outperformance a little bit later. So it might be here. Let me just shrink this up. We'll fit. It might be like this. All right. It might be more of a stair step. Okay.
I don't know, man. I like that half circle. That's telling me this thing wants to pop hard, like not like lightly go up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. Like, I think we're saying the same thing, right? We're just expecting
different
different
ways,
paths to get there. You know, like I think we're gonna go up. You think we're gonna go up, but it's the fashion in which we do. So, you know, I think that ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin more aggressively a little bit deeper into the halving. So,
well, to me, where you're at with price, that's not even like where I think Ethereum goes at the end, right?
I mean, this
Like I
is
think
look at this
that's
inverted. Will look at this shit inverted, man. This is what's
that's
going to happen.
only.
You're going to see it break the parabola. You'll get that
Mhm.
retest, and then it's just gonna nuke, man. It's going to completely nuke. Well, I mean, this is inverted, right? So
Yeah, for me, this is the mid range, right? Like, here's the thing: where did Ethereum struggle the most in 2021? It struggled the most between 1800 and 2500. That was if you go to the left, right? You'll see your struggles were down there basically in those ranges over in January.
yeah,
So 2021. So drag your support line on Ethereum where you are right now, where you just came into the money. Your parabola. Go up a little bit. Yeah, right there. That support line. Draw that all the way to your left.
you're talking about this line right here.
Yep. No, yeah. All the way to the left. All the way to the left.
Like this.
More. All the way. All the way. More. Okay. See right there? Do you see that run up in 20 your 2017 run up? Out
Yeah,
almost touched that. Then you got your January, right? Your January. Go to January of 2021.
right here.
So that's your January 2021.
Oh wait,
And
no,
then
sorry. January 2021's over here. Oh wait, no, that's 2022. Where is 2021? Right here. Yeah,
right
it's
there.
right before we really
Where did
ripped.
you land? You landed right on the money of your top of 2021.
Yeah.
Right? And that was where Ethereum struggled the most to get through price. That is now support. That is now support. You aren't going deeper than that anymore. Like
No, I
that's it.
agree. I mean, I think we're getting really, really close to the rotation, man. I think even just drawing like your legacy normie trend line here, like we're getting into that area here, guys. We really are. Where
This is your takeoff zone.
this is it. This is where you get that final like bleed down and then ripper.
How do you get that wick, Max? What's the catalyst for that wick down?
I think it's the spot ETF getting approved.
You see ETH rotate to Bitcoin? Is that what you're thinking? Because that's the only thing I can see as a
Well,
positive.
I think that the spot ETF gets approved, and you see that crazy reaction where Bitcoin rips 12% in a 1 hour candle. Ethereum probably rips like 6. Okay. So then you see the ETH BTC valuation nuke, even though everything's going up. And then from there, people go, oh, now it's time to speculate on the Ethereum spot ETF. Let's just wildly ape into Ethereum now because we're going to front run the next approval. Look what just happened with the Bitcoin ETF approval. And then you're going to see all those green lines that I have drawn get hit.
Yep. Front run the ETH approval. Front run it. And it probably won't come till next cycle.
Yeah. We know who the best masseuse on the team is, man. There's only one. There's only one.
Tommy's not bad. I'll give him that. Tommy's not bad.
Tommy's great, but Tucker, man. There's only one masseuse. Truly.
Hey, can you guys record the steak dinner?
The steak dinner.
We haven't talked about the soul bet.
Oh man,
we've been talking about it.
We haven't forgotten, but we haven't talked about it in a while. There's a lot of
Yeah.
new watchers to the show, man. They don't know anything about that soul bet.
Somebody in the chat a long time ago, early in the show, said they remembered Tommy telling us about the soul bet a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we still got eyes on the bet. Tommy has until Valentine's Day. I think the show has grown a lot since we made that bet. That was probably like 3 months ago we made that bet, and the show has grown a lot. So there's probably a lot of people in here that have no idea what the bet is that we're talking about, but that's all right. We'll let them find out. They can find out from other people in the comments.
So are you going to make that Tommy's Christmas bonus? Him getting out of his bet?
There's no getting out, Will. There's no getting out.
There's no outs.
No, he's
bet is a
locked
bet,
in,
man.
Oh,
A bet is
I wonder if Tommy's here. Look, the thing
about the bet, though, man, is everybody wins because we all get to hang out, and Tommy also flipped like super long, so I don't think he really cares at all.
Yeah, he made the money back.
Care.
He made the money back. No big
deal. It's gonna be fun. It was all in good fun. It was all in good fun. But yeah, man,
we didn't talk about Rivian. Let's do that before we close out.
Yeah, let's talk about Rivian. So this is probably one of the best looking charts that I've maybe ever seen. This was the most obvious setup. We're in deep with Rivian, by the way. We aped Rivian here under $20, like in this region in our Discord. We gave out the spot entry, and also we're playing some options on it. But here was the Rivian play, man. We played this earlier in the year. Will called this out in the Discord a while back. We were in right here. All right. We were buying Rivian right here. All right. Will called this out. Our entire Discord was shoving Rivian right here. And we caught this breakout. We literally caught this move, man. Like, and we all covered like up here, made a bunch of money. It was fantastic. A lot of fun. And then we're like, all right, let's hang on. Let me get off of this. Let's wait for us to come back and fill in. And what I was looking for was this monthly gap. I did not like this monthly gap right here. I wanted to see this monthly level come back and get filled. Monthly gaps are not good, in my opinion. So I wanted to see that level get hit, and we start to reaccumulate, not only on top of the previous demand, which was, right here. It was under this blue line. This was your previous demand. But we filled in this gap. And on the lower time frames, we started to curl up like this. So I see, okay, interesting. There's, a trend line here on the lower time frame. We're starting to break out of it. We're on top of this monthly gap. Interesting, right? Very, very interesting. So we just start aping, man. Discord gets the signal. We start aping right in here, and it just pops. So now we're just, we're already, in the money. We're just hanging out, having a good time. But this is a very, very good looking chart, in my opinion. We also have this trend line, which we broke out of as well. But yeah, I mean, this is an interesting play for sure. And I mean, truthfully, talking about targets on Rivian, I like this level a lot up here. I like all these highs getting hit. I think it probably happens, sooner rather than later. And we're talking about Rivian being, $40. I mean, we're, to be fair, we're in from, 18 to $19. So it's different speaking of it now, but I think this is a really, really clean looking setup. So
yeah, and for those who don't know too, Rivian does all the EVs for Amazon as well as other businesses. So they have a lot going on. It's a really good pick overall for like a long term, but definitely an easy trader.
Yeah, I love this one. But man, I think this is where we call it. We've been going for a while, guys. We
one more, Max. One more.
All right, what is it? Oops, sorry.
Come on. It doesn't. There is no second best, Max. There is no second best.
No, there isn't.
I mean, come on, guys. Dropped in the Discord.
You did. You said
the bat signal was given. Yeah. So it is what it is. Man, let's stand up, and now we can close.
Man, let's stand. The Solana stand up.
Mhm.
All right, guys, we're going to call it here. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Just a quick reminder, please like the video if you have not yet. It really helps us grow. So again, thanks so much for being here. Please hit that thumbs up button. Furthermore, if you are new here, this is Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. It's our daily live show, which is now on YouTube and Twitter. We are live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern time with myself, Tucker, Will's Outlook, who's also, I guess, going by Janet Yellen, Jackus, and Tommy, who are not with us today, but normally they are. Now, for the Discord, guys, I got some exciting announcements as well beyond the Discord, so hang on and hear them. For one, if you guys want to join the Discord, it's the first link in the description below. It's becausebitcoin.com/premium. We really focus and dial in on execution there. We share a lot of technical analysis and discussions and debates here. But if you want to understand how we're actually placing bets and making money consistently in these markets, the Discord is for you. We spend upwards of 2 hours every single day doing private voice calls with our entire team and community. It's basically like a private Twitter space. So it's really great. You can try that out. Again, that's the first link in the description below. We are also dropping a new product early next year called the BB Terminal. All right. It's basically a Bloomberg terminal, but for crypto. It's a absolutely epic product. Tucker, maybe you could pull up the rendering that we shared in the Discord.
I
So this is
can.
dropping next year, guys. The price of our services are going up tremendously when the BB terminal comes out. We have spent a lot of time and money building this thing out. It's been in development for a while now. So when that finally drops, one, everybody that is currently paying to be in our premium services, our premium Discord, will get access to the BB terminal, and they will be grandfathered in at their current price of $149.99 per month. Like I mentioned, prices are going up significantly once we have the terminal. So if you want to get in now before prices go up like crazy early next year, definitely consider checking that out because, again, you are going to want to use the terminal. It's a really awesome, epic product. Plus, you're going to want to be in the Discord because we share so much valuable private information in there. Some of you guys in the comments, I know we got people in our Discord that are watching right now. Let them know. Give us a quick little review here.
Sneak peek.
You can zoom in more than that, man.
Can I?
Open that in browser or something. Open it in browser. That's too small.
I don't.
Click the bottom left, open in browser, and then we'll need to.
I got you. Don't fret.
Yeah, guys, the BB terminal's coming out, man. It's going to be an absolutely disruptive product, man. It's the best of everything that you currently use. So again, prices are going up next year once we have this. And if you join our Discord, you will be early to beta test it. And you will also get it at the current price of $149.99 per month. And prices are going up significantly. So I would urge you, if you are interested, definitely consider joining now rather than later. It will greatly benefit you. But yeah, guys, that's the first link in the description below. So check that out. It's becausebitcoin.com/premium if you want to be an early beta tester of the BB terminal and also have exclusive insights, analysis, and position access to what me and the entire Because Bitcoin team is doing. Definitely try that out. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Please like the video and also subscribe if you have not yet. We greatly appreciate your guys' continued support, and we will see you tomorrow. Everybody take care.